In Chulin Daf, today's daf is daf Zayin. Anyway, so we're up to near the top of the page, and what we had a comment by Rav Zeh, which we'll come back to soon. That that tzaddikim, Hashem ensures that they don't make any mistakes. And we already said Tosfos limits that to things which are isachef, like things that you eat, that they won't eat something which is incorrect. So the last thing we looked was about, which we sort of went off on a tangent, was regarding Beis Shon. That Rebbe came along and said that Beis Shon is not part of Eretz Yisrael, and they all attacked him. What do you mean? It always was part of Eretz Yisrael. So the Rebbe explained that his ancestors left him place to shine, and therefore he can make a rule. So the Gemara says here, from here you learn out, if a Talmud Chacham says something, you don't just mock him, and you don't just dismiss it. In fact, so the Achreinim say only if a Talmud Chacham says this is the minig, but if an ordinary person says this is the minig, check it out. Check it out. Okay, we're up to the Gemara here, talking about Beis Shon. It's actually very complicated, especially when it's Yisrael in the 1880s, and they all came back and started doing farming, and they want to know about the laws of Truman Meissen or Rothschild over there, when he supported everything, and Avi Nezer got very heavily involved, whether he chayiv and Truman Meissen, Mateidim and Rabban, and what parts of Yisrael. So there's a fascinating Rabbi Yaakov Emden who says, this is obviously prior to that, Rabbi Yaakov Emden says that because Beis Shon was conquered by Chashman. Oh, let's go a little bit further and I'll come back to it. So about it further. You're telling me Beis Shon is not part of it, Yisrael, about 10 lines on the top of the page. Umi ikal amandam. Is this somebody who's... Is there someone who says that Beis Shon is not part of it, Yisrael? Look, see, it says in the pasuk, "V'lo hoidish Menashe did not chase away the goyim who lived in Beis Shon. There's Bnei and its suburbs. There's Tanacha, there's Bnei and other city, Tanacha and its suburbs, and so on and so forth. Clearly from here that it was distributed, that it was times Yeshua, Beis Shon was given to Chelik Sheva Menashe. Says the Gemara, Yishtamiti Hodam Rav Shimon Yoki. You forgot what Shimon Yoki said, Shimon Rav Elazar, and Pedosh Amma, Shimon Rav Elazar, and Shemoy. Harbe Krachim Kav Shemay Mitzrayim. There were two aliyahs. The first one was when Yeshua went up, Mitzrayim, but the second time around they weren't conquered. And Rukasavar, and we hold Kedusha the Shaina Kitchel Shaita. The first conquest in the times of Yeshua, like Kitchel did not have a permanent Kedusha. So Beis Shon might have been in the first conquest, but it never was. That's not part of Kedusha Yisrael. The Inichim, Kadesh, and the second time they didn't conquer it, and they deliberately didn't want to conquer Beis Shon. Kadesh Yishkolei and Aniyim B'Shvius. They wanted to have the poor people should have somewhere to go in the years of Shemitah. They didn't conquer it. So interesting that
it's not conquered. It's not
Kedusha Yisrael. It's interesting if that's what happened. Then what did they become along and reveal? They deliberately did not conquer Beis Shon, unless Beis Shon was not. So it seems to me it's just a principle. Things that they didn't conquer the second time around wasn't part of Yisrael. For whatever reason, Beis Shon was always treated as part of Yisrael until Rebbe came along and said it is not. So Rabbi Yaakov Emden has a whole interesting thing. He says it says in Megillas Tainis that they did conquer, that Chashmonaim conquered Beis Shon, and he goes to the whole people over there. So L'chayda was conquered the second time around, and he wants to say, I don't think he has a base. He doesn't bring a basis, at least, that even though it was conquered the second time around, if during the course of the history of the second Beis Hamikdash, the Goyim pushed out the Yidden from that city and they filled it with their own people, with Goyim, it lost its Kedusha. So he said that, and therefore Beis Shon, might have been Kamer Chashmonaim, but it didn't last. Interesting idea. He talked also about Caesarea. That Caesarea also might not be part of Eretz Yisrael.
The Romans.
Yeah, the same logic. The Eden were pushed out and became the Roman city. Interesting idea. I don't think I've seen anybody quote it, but that's what he said. Okay, let's continue. We're middle of the page of Zayin Omid Aleph. So let's go back to this thing. The whole idea started from because we saw Reb Meir. Why did Rebbe make this psak? Because he heard from Reb Meir's brother-in-law that Reb Meir ate the leaf of a vegetable in the city of Beis Shon, and it could be it was the Mai and whatever, and he ate it. So the Gemara says here, all he ate was a leaf. He built a whole halacha based on Rameh eating a leaf. It wasn't stam a leaf. He ate it from a bundle. So what if he ate a bundle? The question was, if it's a leaf, it's only a snack, and a snack you're not even chayiv. In Mises. So he's saying no, it was a leaf out of a bundle. There's some more details to the story, and so what? But now we learn Yedek HaNeged. Once it was in a bundle, Mishiyagid. Once you bundle it, you're already chayiv, and even then you take it out from once the chayiv is there, you cannot eat from it. So the Gemara. Maybe he just didn't think of it. He just didn't think it through. Oh, so again, goes back to the same thing again. So Zayda said, the behemoth doesn't make a mistake. No way that Meir would have eaten, if he didn't know that it was in a bundle, there's no way that David would have allowed him to eat from it. Said the Gemara, Vidilma, Iser. That's the whole Meiser Shmuel because why they wanted to beat him up when he threw away the liver. Because only by tzaddikim we say that they should make sure they don't get stumbled, they don't get hurt. Maybe that mayor gave meiser from somewhere else. So Gemara said, the din is that when you give true meiser, it should be from something next to it. In fact, most of the Rishonim hold this mahatoida. So there's no way that a mayor, in order to make sure that there's meiser and anything else, would have given meiser from. Oh, I have it at home sitting over there, some extra. I'm going to use that as meiser. No way he would do that. Why only next to Chaveda? Chaveda might know the special people. Everybody. If it's a din in the Torah that they have to do with Amukiv, why would you be choshen anybody? Maybe there's another din is that you can look at one side and feel, say, that corner there, it's in your mind. But like Kedusha, whether you have to actually say it or not. But if it's mamash here, it seems like it's in your mind. If you thought that corner there is going to be true, it's good enough already. Taysom wants to know then why can't you do it on Shabbos? What?
Was he eating his or he was eating someone else's stuff?
Yeah, but maybe he had. It seems that if somebody else gave him, it doesn't say here what it was. But even if somebody else's, then maybe he had some others as well. He got more than that. He just took it and thought the other side. Let's stop for a minute. He says, pause. Who's the one who gave us this aegis? A great tzaddik. His brother-in-law.
Who's the one who gave what?
This with testimony that I made 18. His brother-in-law. And his brother-in-law was Man Gavra Rabba Kamasila. Certainly, if he gave us this aegis, he must have looked into all the details and he said, guys, he ate it as if it wasn't part of Yisrael. That's what he was trying to say. And there's no question that he said exactly the way it's meant to be. My behem to shel tzaddikim that finally tell us, right? 3 times you told us a ma'aser of the behemoth. What's going on? What behemoth is this? Gemara tells a whole story to get to this point of behemoth. Fascinating story. Apicha was the father-in-law of Rav Shimon Yochai. He once was going on his way to redeem somebody who was taken captive. He met this interesting Poga an interesting expression, like the river came to meet him. Anyhow, the only way to get to where he had to go to, he had to cross the river. So he said, Nahara, he came in Ginoi, which is, and there was a river there. Amalei Ginoi Haloikli Memecha. He said to this river over here, split. The name of the river was called Ginoi. He said, split your waters, so I can cross. You're going to do a mitzvah, but so am I. The fact that my teva was created, that I should flow, then that's my mitzvah. What mitzvah do I have? To follow what David should wanted. In fact, if you remember right in the beginning of the Chumash, Rashi says that the trees did an Aveda. David says ate pri. That the pri and the fruits of the tree should be exactly the same. And what happened was ate oisa pri. The fruit of the tree are not exactly the same. They did the wrong thing. So that's the mitzvah. The mitzvah is to follow teva. And so, therefore, I have a mitzvah also. You know for sure that they're going to accept your money and you'll be able to redeem those, but you're still suffering. And you've had the yoisa, but I'm definitely flowing because I'm doing what Hashem told me. Picha said, if you're not going to split, you'll become a dry riverbed. Cholok got scared and he split. I once saw people pshadi and I can't remember it. Guy was a person to have a dori chitil pisk. Was another person standing next to him who was carrying wheat to do what do you call matzah for Pesach. Picha said, "Hey, chaluk namilahai, keep the water." Right now, the Gemara thinks split it again a second time. Did a mitzvah? So he's doing a mitzvah. Chaluk like the water split a second time. Who tired was a goy. A Bedouin, the love of Bahadai that was also walking with them. Said to the river, I want you to split for him as well. I don't want to be Chil Hashem. That's what you do to somebody who's escorting you, giving you safety, because I'm not a Yid, it's a Chil Hashem. Chaluk split a third time. He's greater than Moshe Rabbeinu. V'shisin dibur than 600,000. There, the water split only once. What do you mean chazim? It split into 12. I guess it all happened at the same time. The guys the Yam Sufis, but it happened at the same time. Here, the Gemara understood it. It happened 3 different occasions. First the thing, water cold up again, opened up again for the Eid, and then for the goy. Ella, Gemara says you're right. The Dimah Hachanam Bechadazim only once. Ella Kemoshe. He's equal to Moshe V'Shisin Rabin in 600,000. Beautiful Mashah. The Mashah says here. I'll just read you to him. He said that David Melech and Tehillim tells us this story. He says here. It says here in Kapitel Samavav. First of all, Hafach Yam LaYabasha. That's Kriyas Yamsuf. Talk about Kriyas Yamsuf. That the water split. Then the pasuk says, "Banahar Yavru Beregel," and one day it'll happen again to a river. That's Pichel B'Yarb. It's a river. Genoi. Sham Nishchaboy, and will also split for those who want to be happy. Well, Matzah is Pesach. Pesach is Mansim. Is all Yom Tovim Samach V'Chagecha. That's that story. Then it says the next pasuk, Moshe B'Gvurasei. The Eibishter who's in control of the whole world is the one who made sure that the water split. Ein of Bagoyim Titzpena. The Eibishter then he looked at the Goyim as well, which is the third story of the Goy. And what? Al Yerum Olam, we don't want him to have kindness to us. The Goy, Al Yerum, he should raise his voice and have kindness. How come you split for me as well? So the Melech already told this whole story until fascinating. Anyway, let's continue. Says the Gemara, they came to this hotel. They gave him barley to give to his donkey. He's like, oh, the donkey refused to eat. They couldn't understand why didn't the donkey want to eat the barley. So they thought that maybe it was they didn't yet put it through a sieve, and the donkeys are very edel. Is chaftinu. They put it through a sieve. They sifted it. Nakrinu. They physically took the hand and took out all the pebbles and the dirt and everything else. It should be pure barley. Yet le'achol. So Picha said, maybe you didn't give your Maisa yet. But my donkeys are very frum. But Ochal, and so Masim, you're Maisa. I still gave Maisa, but Ochal and the donkey ate. Omar, so Picha said, Aniyazu, Hailech is Lasa, saying, these donkeys are going to do a mitzvah, right? We're going now. You want to give them tevel to eat? Says that's the story. Interesting, machlekes nacharonim. So the Eibush over here protected the animals from eating. Is it for the benefit of the donkey or the benefit of Pinchas ben Yair? Because he's the balabas and he couldn't give them barley that was the mai, or that wasn't given meiser. So therefore, it saved him, or the donkey itself. So machlekes the Rambam and Ramban, if donkeys have emotions, there's actually some. It's a thing that animals have bechira as well, whatever that means. So. There's an interesting of who's the one who's being protected here?
Maybe the Pinchas ben Yair's donkey having the mai would give Hanot that he's now traveling with his donkey, just schlepping his bekel while he's riding on. And so he's having Hanot from this.
Yeah, of course he's having Hanot, but the question is who will be hash the behem the shel tzaddikim. Okay, you'll soon see an interesting machlekes Rashi and Taisus there. Let's get a bit further. Says the Gemara, I don't know what the problem is. Why couldn't the donkeys eat the barley? The din is that what now we learned how to behem. If you're buying barley, let's say for seeds, or you're buying barley, let's say for wheat, you're buying to feed your animals. Or kemach lo'idos, you're buying flour to put on your hides. B'shemen l'nei, b'shemen lots was a kelim oil for a candle or to smear your clothes. Potten madmai, you're potten from demai because you're not using it to eat it. So no, it's Michael Behemoth. You buy from Amaris. Remember the whole thing is a suffix. Roiv Amaratzi Maasnei. Most give mice. It's only a few that don't. And we're machmed. We say demai, domai. What is it? But not if you're buying it to feed an animal. For then we're not going to be machmed. No, if 100% you didn't give mice, you have to give mice and everything, even if you're going to feed your animal. But not if it's only a suffix. Wouldn't never geyser. Says the Gemara. Even though we learned Amar Rabbi Yechon, you had bought it for your behemoth. Then you're right, but I'm not worried about it. If you bought it for yourself, and you decide to give him a chayv, last to give him meiser. So you want Vatanya and Vatan, we take a lot in the Braisa. How the care payment if you buy in the marketplace, lachila to eat it yourself. Then so you have a chiv of the Maya. And once you have a chiv of the Maya, now you decide to give it to behemoth. There's a light to live in the bed, live in the behemoth. You know, I'll give it to the animals. Ella can't easily give meiser, but if you had bought it for the animal, no problem. So my Rebbe heard. As Taisha says, interesting. He was asking all these questions. Taisa is saying, he's saying there's another Gemara, and the Yerushalmi actually. The Yerushalmi says the behemoths were machmer. You're right. You're allowed to, but all these things you're allowed to, but they were very frugal. They were charedim, and they didn't want to eat. Our Gemara doesn't accept that, and we have to give answers. Anyway, second right. Rebbe heard. Rebbe, imagine, Apir must have been an old man. Reb Shimon Yochai was Rebbe's Rebbe, and Apir was Reb Shimon Yochai's father-in-law. So the Rebbe Yishmael would have been quite old already. So when the Rebbe, nothing happened, he heard Apir was coming to town, he went out to meet him. I said, please come and join me at my house. Yes, I will join. Wow. So Rebbe got so excited. And why you get so excited? Because Apir never ate in anybody's house, ever. And now he accepted the Rebbe's, explain to him why. Shapiro says, what's the big deal? You think Shemud and Nom Yisrael, you think the reason why I don't eat from people is because I don't want to benefit from another Yid? Yisrael Kedosh, man. Yidden are holy. Yes, Shiraites are Yidden who want to have guests in the house, but anyway, the posh and poor. So you can't go to them because, you're not allowed to make them feel very uncomfortable. The yes are Yidden who have money, they ain't the rights, but they refuse to give. So Taisa asks, why you call Kedoshim? So Taisa, at the end, they do invite people, but not because they really want to. They have no breda. They have to save face. Uksiv, and it says in Pasuk, you're not allowed to eat in such a person's house. We had in Morosaitia there, a guy who's stingy, you're not allowed to eat in his house. And here they bring the Pasuk, it says, Al tilchem, as lechem, you shouldn't eat the bread, ra'ain, somebody who's stingy and spendthrift. Va'al tisar l'matma'osav, you shouldn't desire their tasty things. Why? Ki kamoi shar benafshay kein hu. It's like a gateway which says nefesh kein hu achaylu shtei yoim lech. He tells you to eat and drink, but believe bali mach, he doesn't want you. But the to you, Rebbe, I know you really want to. V'yeshlach mia, and v'yeshlach, you also have money. So why shouldn't I eat by you? No big deal. But I'm happy to join you. Mia, however, hashtem misaravina. I have to deny, or I'm in a rush right now. The milsa the mitzvah. I'm going to the Pidyon Shvuim. I'll come back. I'll come to you. When I come back, I'll go eat by you. Anyway, Kiyasa, when he came back, Yisrame, the Abisha made it happen. Obahu Pischa, Rebbe had a big mansion, obviously. He went to the wrong door, and there, when he went through the yard. There were these white mules who are wild and dangerous. Omar, froze. He has here these animals that are threatening, and I'm going to eat in his house. Rebbe heard and he ran outside. I'll sell them. Please come. I'll sell all my white donkeys. So whoever you buy, it will have the same problem because you're just passing the buck. I'll make it hefke. I won't give it to anybody. Mafshet hazek is even worse. There's no balabas. I will take away. The feet, the part of the feet that they kick, I'll take away from the nerves and vein. You say you can't do that. That's Balachayim. Katlinu, I'll kill them. At least when they're alive, they can plow. They have some work. Imagine, Rebbe was nudging him, pestering him, is begging him. Achtash is more than just asking him. He's pleading with him. While he was talking, Gava Tura Benayu, a mechitza, was built up magically between Rebbe and Apir. You couldn't even see him anymore. Bocha Rebbe cried. He said, the tzaddik is alive. The Eber should make sure that he never, ever has to go against his own wishes. Rabbi never ate by anybody's house. This is the first time. So the Eber made it, boom, he walked in the wrong door. The Eber made it that he should not, and we'll learn about his Gocha Protz in a minute. Surely when he passed away, a tzaddik after they pass away are greater than when they're alive. It says, they were burying a person next to Elisha. They saw this army, they're betting over there at Elisha, and they saw this army come. Each became Elisha. They threw this person on the cave of Elisha, and they went away. Elisha, and this person then touched the grave of Elisha. And he stood up. When he stood on his feet. So where do you see that he was greater? He just touched him, and he already walked. Elisha, when he was alive, he had to bend, he had to put his mouth on his mouth and his hand on his hand, and so on. Here, he just touched Elisha and he stood up. Who said with the schus of Elisha? Maybe this is the bracha of Eliyahu. The chsiv, it says, that Eliyahu gave a bracha to Elisha that you'll do double what I did. Eliyahu owns Mechayim Mason 1, and Elisha 2. But where's the second one? The second one was this story. Amalei Sabai said to Papi, Hachiv, so tell me if that's the shot. The time we learned al ragel of Amma, this person stood up on his feet, and never went home. He just walked away from Elisha's cave and then he dropped dead again. This is a Russia, yeah. So we were the second talk of the Chizam Esim. It says that he promised Elisha you'll do twice. Remember he healed the tzaras of Naaman, and we learned more in the Doran that the 4 Abba Chasha Kemes. She's school Kemes. She never said I'll need to get the Kemes. Don't be like a mace. Why are these white mules called Yamim? They instill fear in all the people. Was a doctor. We had another Gemara, a doctor, and this is the basis. Nobody ever asked me to cure them. Imagine I made a doctor. Makas Preda. Nobody ever asked me to heal them from a mak of a white donkey because they wouldn't live. The Chayan live. What are we talking about? We see all the time that people live. Aim of the Chayis and they get healed. Look, because in the midst of we see that they get healed as well. The Chivra and Reish Karayu come in. I'm talking about if they're white on the knees or in the bottom of the legs. That's where they're white. That means they're vicious. Not the entire animal is white. Einoid Mulvadoi, nach Sudish Gemara. It says in the Pasuk, Einoid Mulvadoi is no the Eibishter. Omer Avchinat Filu Kshafim. Even Kishif, somebody who does real magic, wants to hurt somebody. If the Eibishter hadn't had that in his plans, it won't happen. Even though the whole in machshef is, as we still say, Ahitz is a woman, and we had this many times in the Gemara that somehow or another these kishemachas they have to have the sand to work with to be able to do their kishev. That's why we had the whole Gemara their Shimon Shotach, where he cooked the 80 machshefas. They had to lift them all from the ground because they get their strength from this dirt. So this woman, she kept the following of Chanina, and every time he sat and walked somewhere, she took the sand from under her feet. No, somehow or another to control them. Amalei, Shikuli le Mistay Milsa, my little friend, take as much sand as you want, it's going to help him. Only the Abish that runs the world, not you. But why is it called Kshafim? The word Kishav is that what the Machish and Pam is Pamaya Shamayla, that they can contradict what the Abish's plans are. Chasashom. Moshe Shainab Chanina did a Fishich Chosei. They had a lot of Chosim. Yeah, it's hard to understand, but what do you mean again? If that's not the Abish's plan, it won't happen either. Unless that was part of the Abish's plan, that the Kisha should be able to have influence, but not by Rab Chanina. But Omar Rab Chanina said, Ein Adam Neikid, there's Ashgacha Pratis by humans. Ein Adam Neikid Etzboi Milamata, a person will not hurt themselves here. Elim Kemachizal, unless the Abish decides that's going to happen. Remember, it says, Mahavayim Mitzadeh Gaber Konono, every step you take, it comes from the Abish. What do we understand? So in other words, the Chiddush of the Baal Shem Tov was that all the Rishonim before him believed in Hashgacha Pratis by humans and Hashgacha Klolis on everything else. The Baal Shem Tov said, no, every single thing. Like Frikir Rebbe says, a leaf turning over is Hashgacha Pratis. And that's why we learn that from another Rashi, actually in Chulin. I'll mention to you when we get there. Amar Abelazar says, Dam Nikaif, that says when you lose blood, because you hit your toe against you stub your toe against the wall, and therefore you bleeds. Is meratze kedam oila has the it's so painful that when you're in pain, it's like a kapara. Like we had in Marabrach of hey there that Yisurin is a good thing because it takes away whatever you deserve. Chas v'shalom, it cleansed it. Amar Rabbi Begoy, you're talking about the right toe, uvenik of sheni, the second bump. The first one is not so bad. When you hit this, it's already sore, and you hit it a second time. Oh, it's too late. But who they call a mitzvah? But when do we say it's a kapar if you're going for a mitzvah? So everyone asks if you're going for a mitzvah, we're learning more of Sochan of Chesed. That's looking at the Zaykin loy balichasav loy b'chizrasan. So either maybe if it's shtiach hazeka, sorry.
We're saying it's not a nezik. We're saying it's to help him.
So every nezik that way, because everything got. So we're saying that either shtiach hazeka you shouldn't go, but here if you went shtiach hazeka, it's still a kapara, or as you just said, it's not a bad thing. That's a good thing that it happened because it's a kapara for other things. You don't have to suffer every in real. They say about Pichba Yoyer, Miyamav in his whole entire life, loy botza al prusa. He never took a piece of bread that wasn't his. Rashi says he didn't make hamoitzi. Never made a botza. The word is breaking bread, making hamoitzi. He didn't want to eat a kazai from other people. Now there is a tur. I was just wondering. There's a tur that brings in the Rambam that we don't have in our Rambam, and everybody questions where the tur got it from is that you don't make hamoitzi if you ate less than a kazais of bread. And what's is the vart they didn't eat bread? Then what do you have to mention on Moitzi for? Just say or why mention the chazayis? Any amount. Rashi, it seems like he didn't want to make the bracha hamoitzi by somebody else. If it's less than the kazayis, there's no bracha hamoitzi. Maybe would eat. I don't know. Otherwise, what's Rashi saying here? And from the moment that he was mature enough that he can support himself, he did not eat from his own father's table. And therefore, that's why Rebbe, when he came to Rebbe, sorry. What happened?
I thought you said Ahmed al Raglav.
No. Ahmed al Daitai. And let's just see, there's another gear there. The same thing. I feel Masudas Aviv Loinena. Imagine. So when Rebbe heard that he's coming to him, he was over the moon. But David should make sure it didn't happen.
It's a wild donkey.
That's a good question. Or maybe his servants had it. He think Rebbe micromanaged. He just let them do whatever they had to do. Rebbe was busy being Rebbe. That yeshiva, he had everything else to run. Anyway, have a good day, team, tomorrow.